Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Hey, everybody, I want to welcome you to episode number 816. Sorry, my voice isn't perfect, but that's because I was up cheering for the Florida Gators. And congratulations to them and their national championship basketball team. I also want to say a big thank you to Reagan Mendoza, who's been the pilot and producer of my podcast, and before that, radio show for probably 7 years. He helped engineer the change from being a real radio show to being a podcast and taught me what Zoom was. And now we're on StreamYard. But Mr. Mendoza has left the building. He has now got a tremendous job in the business of selling industrial supplies and healthcare devices. So I want to wish Mr. Mendoza all the best. And in his honor, we're going to do today's show. It's going to be about change. I want to welcome everybody to the show. We're streaming live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Instagram. You can follow us at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business. And while the format may be a little bit different and you may see a couple of glitches, you must realize that it's all about change. And the number one thing about change is you got to stay calm, because I can guarantee you one thing: the unexpected is always going to happen. It's always going to present itself. And the person that's the master of change will be able to handle whatever comes up. I want to thank our sponsors for 15 years. That hasn't changed. Warren Henry Automotive. I want to thank Larry, Warren, Eric, Gerald, my whole family over at Warren Henry. I want to thank them for making us part of the family. And now on to today's topic, which is change. You know, change is inevitable, as we've learned. Anybody who's gone through life has learned that change is inevitable. It can be uncomfortable, but you need to evolve and adapt, and that's the natural course of everything. Everybody has their own way of handling change. The way I handle change is I simply take a deep breath and dive in, as you're seeing today. Everybody has their own tolerance for change also. Everybody's different. I mentor so many young people from the University of Miami and the University of Florida and FIU. Some came from the Wharton School, all kinds of different, FSU, Bethune-Cookman. And everybody has their own tolerance for change. But the one thing that I've learned more than anything else is that having a routine really helps you adapt to change. One component of your life may be changing, but if you have the others in a static mode and they keep happening consistently, the one thing that's changing will really be able to be worked out over time. For me, that incremental change is what's really important. And here in South Florida, we have all kinds of change every day. We have the change that's going on in our physical environment. We have the change that happens instantaneously as we deal with traffic. Of course, we all know that there's two types of people in traffic: the person that's lost in front of you, and the person that's really in a hurry behind you. Kudos to George Carlin for my favorite traffic joke. But being successful is about managing change. Now, what do I do to manage change? First thing I do is rely on friends. One of my closest friends is now the producer of the show. He has his own podcast studio, and he's somebody that I really enjoy spending time with. And, he's my go-to person managing this particular part of change. I rely on my family. My wonderful wife, Vivian, is my rock. She's gone through so many challenges and so much change in her life. And I love watching her and paying attention to her and seeing how she does it. And she does it. She's just is a bulldozer. Nothing affects her. She changes on a dime and just focuses on everything. Like I said earlier, routine is a big component of it. We have a lot of routines. So hopefully only one part of your routine changes. I rely a lot on spirituality. I start pretty much every day by going to synagogue and sitting with a whole bunch of people that have only one thing in common, and that's that they want to, be spiritual and humble together, and that helps us change. And believe me, the little synagogue I go to is dramatically changed from having to go bring people in. The rabbi used to go to the old folks home and bring in people. So we have 10 to bake prayers. And now we always have a minion, 10 or more people every time. You have to embrace the challenge. That's another really good strategy. As the change comes in, you can't shy away from it. You have to really focus on it and push yourself into the change and the challenge. I use a little humor. It makes me feel better. It kind of breaks the ice. And that's some of the challenges that the strategy I use for changes. Now, there can be a big change. There can be a little change. It can change everywhere from living in one part of town or living in one unit in your apartment complex. All of that changes perspective and changes your routine. It can also be as much as a big change, moving and switching cities. When I first left home to go to college in Gainesville, boy, was that a change. Then I left Gainesville and went to Orlando. Boy, was that a change. Then I left Orlando and went to Tampa. Boy, was that a change. And each time I was switching the main focus of my life, being a student, working for a consulting firm, working for an investment banking firm. And then I moved to Miami when Miami was still a small backwater town, and I went into investment banking. Then I just changed back to my hometown. But during the 10 years I was gone, boy, was there a lot of change in Miami. So there's all kinds of different changes. And just like, I'll have to do it again, the University of Florida basketball team showed us during the Final Four, it's really about surviving and advancing. Just survive the change, adapt to what's going on, and continue to put forth your historic level of positive energy and effort. And I got news for you. You'll be able to deal with the change pretty well. The more things, I really don't use a lot of these canned lines, but this is one I really like. The more things change, the more they stay the same. If you can take change and have it adapt your life to being able to address the dynamic, always changing things in the world, that's just really just the rhythm of life. It takes courage to accept new changes and address them. It takes focus, because as different things change around you, you're going to be distracted, and you've got to keep your eyes set on the horizon and where you're headed to. You have to put one foot in front of the other to get there. You have to stay positive. You have to embrace it. You have to realize that you're going to come out better for whatever change is going on, and that the change is going to make you better. One of the things I always used to say was that, well, I guess I still say it, is that change creates the furnace where we're forged. And no steel is made without going through that furnace and getting pounded on by hammers and rolled out. And then finally, you'll be that strong, positive steel that it will take to get you where you want to go. So change is good no matter how you get there or how challenging it may seem when it's occurring. New job, new relationships, new employment environment. High five to Mr. Mendoza for that. All of these new experiences, they all bring things together and build you as a person. And as long as you're flexible and accepting and focused, you'll be able to succeed as things change. For me, I'm an old dog that learns new tricks. I went from being one of the top capital markets and investment banking professionals in town, and yes, I still am. Today I put 2 different deals under LOI, which are probably worth about 125, 150 million when they're all finished. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I've gone and expanded from just the capital markets world to now also doing private equity. And mostly what I've been doing in the past have been multifamily land and multifamily vertical development. And now I do a lot of hospitality. So I've evolved. I've learned new things. I've done it by relying on the people in my life that I work with and having them teach me by trial and error, actually, mostly. I just work to keep on moving forward. I want to stay positive. I want to embrace that rhythm of life. I want to keep on having more and getting more. And the only way to do that is to stay positive and keep things in perspective. Sometimes we seek out change and sometimes it's thrust upon us, but would be defined by how we handle change. Now stick with us. We'll be right back after this short break with Bottom Line. Team, take it away. Hi, I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry. I met Larry Zinn when he was the F&I guy sitting there making your business deal. I've watched Larry grow and change, and I've watched my friends at Warren Henry grow and change. I can tell you a couple things I know for sure. I know Warren Zinn is really proud of the business that he's built based on the change of hands that came from his father to him. And I know that he's really proud of what Eric Day and Larry have been doing, and Ismet and Gerald and everybody else. My Maytal Stark used to handle my service there. Now Gerald does. So that's changed that I had to deal with. They keep selling me, my mom, and my beautiful wife, Vivian, new cars. And we keep changing as the cars change. But one thing never really does change, and that's the Warren Henry Advantage. It's a great list of services they provide you, including a loaner car if your car needs to be serviced. Other thing that doesn't change with Warren Henry is that they treat everybody right, just like family. They treat my beautiful wife, Vivian, my mom, lots and lots of my clients and friends, and of course me, just like family. And so remember, whenever you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you should reach out to Warren Henry up in Gainesville. They sell Audis. I had to do it. I'm sorry, folks. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. My God, the business just doesn't keep coming. They keep calling me. I love it. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. Down in the Keys, they sell all these great nameplates. They've got their flagship store, 151st and Biscayne, where they've got Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and now Lincoln. That lineup keeps changing, evolving to only for the better. And of course, they've got their award-winning Land Rover, Range Rover stores in South Dade and West Broward. So remember, always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Well, we're talking about change, and one of the comfort foods for me is Mr. Mendoza's voice and his bumpers that he's created for me over time. Whoops, I'm getting all these business. Hot as a pistol. And I'm going to give you the bottom line. And the bottom line is the same as what we started the show with, which is that you got to stay calm, because during change, the unexpected is going to happen. And how you approach and deal with the unexpected will define whether or not you're handling the change right. Remember, you'll be judged by how you handle the change. And the more change you have, I must say, the richer your life will be. And so I'll remind everybody to check us out on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. You can always patronize our sponsors, Warren Henry and the University of Florida Center for the Bergstrom Center for Real Estate Studies. You can reach out to me and contact me. I work with all kinds of families from across the globe, helping them implement their business plans, and those keep changing, and I keep changing with them. You can contact me at Jim Freed or Sandstone Realty Advisors. There's my contact information below. I want to remind everybody, if you missed anything on today's episode, you can check out our replay on any of our social feeds, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch, or Instagram. I saw the big T and forgot he calls it X now. You can look for my handles, Jim Fried or at Fried on Business, or you can head over to the at Jim Fried YouTube page, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you listen to your audio. That's where we are. Check out all of our other past episodes too. I want to thank our sponsors for 13, 14 years. I don't even know anymore. I've lost count. I love them. Warren Henry, they treat us like family. Of course, the Bergstrom Center for Real Estate Studies, Kelly Bergstrom, gave me my start. And I want to thank our new team. Thank you, team. High five for getting through the first episode of the Changing Fried on Business. I want to remind everybody, the person who wants to do something finds a way. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. The rest of this show is yours, team. Everybody else, you go out and make it happen.